There's a lot to be said about the foundation you choose for your new prefabricated or tiny home. Location, cost, accessibility, and natural factors all come into play. Today, we will look at some of the things you might want to consider and some standard and available options. There are plenty of models and options for your tiny home. We've discussed tons of them on our channel. But what's the point if you don't have a solid foundation? Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Let's get into it. What is a foundation? You might already know the answer to this. It's good to know that a foundation is the load-bearing portion of the structure, typically built at least in part below ground. Foundations, at minimum, need to do three things well: support the structure, keep out water from the ground, and act as a barrier for water and soil vapor. There are a few different types, but we will talk about two common tiny home foundations: the slab and the pier and beam. None of them necessarily better, but each has a definite pro and con breakdown that we will work into today. What should you consider? Choosing your foundation is one of the most important decisions you'll need to make up front when building your tiny home kit, and maybe neither of these options will work for you. Nothing is one size fits all, and no two foundations will be exactly the same. Some questions you should be asking yourself first and foremost include: does this area regularly freeze, or is it subject to yearly freezing temperatures? Does the area reach freezing temperatures for extended periods? What kind of slope are you looking at on your lot? What is the area's tornado or severe weather risk? What is the flood risk? Will drainage be a problem on your property? Will you need additional storage below your home? And finally, what is your budget? The budget one is going to be the hardest to work with, only because you can't know how much your foundation is going to cost until you know what kind of foundation you need. When trying to work out the cost of your foundation, you need to consider your options, the size of your structure, the location and land prep, and local level requirements to boot. Is your head spinning yet? What are the types of foundations? Today is about more than looking at every possible foundation option available on the market today. You can do a quick Google search and find far more options. However, we can break down the most popular options to make things easier. Mainly, we'll be looking at slab and pier and beam foundations, because while it isn't one size fits all, it's a one size fits most scenario. And why not make things just a little easier? Slab-on-grade, monolithic slab types. First and foremost, let's talk about the slab. Slab-on-grade foundations are the shallow type most commonly used on flat, level building sites with good soil compaction. This is to say, you need a solid foundation for this foundation. A slab of concrete would be poured onto prepared gravel and soil. This integrates the floor with the foundation, keeping your new tiny home close to earth. However, while this is one of the clear-cut options, it's good for locations without a deep front line. They're also labor-intensive, requiring concrete, which isn't the most eco-friendly. If you're trying to shrink your carbon footprint, this might not be your best option. Average nationwide cost, $10,000. Cost per square foot, $5 to $7. Pros: less expensive, faster curing, fast construction, pest-resistant from below, low profile, more accessible, lower radon, ground gas risk, low and easy maintenance. Cons: unsuitable for sloped land or flood zones, costly to repair, no underneath storage, less attractive, not eco-friendly, accessible to pests or rodents, less insulated, colder floors. Pier and beam foundations. The pier and beam foundation is built on posts to carry the weight of your new home. These posts are placed on a concrete footer and can be made of materials like poured concrete, concrete blocks, or wood. This style is perfect for sloped land, unstable soil, and areas prone to flooding. It doesn't allow for much of a basement, but you can have access underneath your building. They're pretty eco-friendly, or at least they can be, with the ability to raise your home on stilts and use less material overall. However, these can be inaccessible for those who can't climb many stairs and are often more prone. They're ideal for rodents and pests, as they usually seek shelter in the accessible space below. If you live in an area with severe weather or seismic activity, this may not be a great option for you, as you'll be prone to earth and wind movement more than if you were close to the ground, with no safe space from destructive hurricanes or tornadoes. Average nationwide cost, $11,000. Cost per square foot, $7 to $13. Pros: can offer flood and moisture protection, accessible utility, electrical, and ducts, easy access for pest inspection, less expensive maintenance and repair, suitable for sloped or uneven landscapes, more eco-friendly materials, wood. Cons: increased mold risk, prone to pests and rodents, shelter, raised profile, less accessible, at risk for seismic and severe weather activity, less energy efficient, less insulated, colder floors. Notable mention: block wall foundation, crawl spaces, and basements. While crawl spaces and basements are distinctly different, we want to cover them as an option. They require different maintenance needs and come with other risks, but if you have the budget and ability to care for a crawl space or basement, you benefit quite a bit. It's a slower build, but you're given continuous parameter support with a block wall foundation. This allows you to take advantage of the Earth's consistent temperature, reducing how much you'll need to heat your home. Block wall foundations are more expensive, not to mention if you decide to add a basement, but the expense is offset by the additional storage or space you may gain in turn. Not to mention the extra safe zone you might gain if you live in an area prone to tornadoes and want to account for that. If you have the budget and desire, this may be an alternative off the beaten path option for your new home. Average cost nationwide, $14,500 to $30,000. Cost per square foot, $10 to $35. Pros: warmer insulated floors, accessible utility, electrical, and ducts, energy efficient, easy to inspect, resilient for seismic, suitable for sloped or uneven lots, built-in storm protection, potential tornado shelter, less costly to repair. Cons: longer, higher-cost construction, prone to pest activity, susceptible to moisture and water accumulation and flooding, vulnerable to mildew and mold, regular maintenance required, increased radon ground gas risk. Which foundation do you choose? There's no clear-cut better or worse, just better or worse, depending on your needs. Doing thorough research and being aware of your options, along with their pros and cons, is just one step of your new home journey. The accessibility and affordability of prefabricated and modular homes are unmatched. But if you're going to do it, you have to do it right. If your takeaway is that you are not well informed, then this is a guide to go forward. Ask yourself the hard questions and the not so hard ones, and make sure you give your new homes a solid start in the right direction. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions from experience, let us know in the comments, and maybe take a look if you're still on the fence. If you like this video and want to see more like it, show your love with a like below and subscribe to the channel for more fabulous finds.